The contents of this podcast are highly inappropriate and should not be considered in any way safe for work. Listen at your own discretion, and don't let your kids listen.
Hello, Internet. Welcome to Reagents Required. Today I am joined with Shara. Say hello.
Hello.
Would you like to tell everybody a little bit about yourself before we get really good and started here?
Okay, well, I'll do my best. Hi, everybody. Hi, world. I'm Shara. I came into the geeking world through Polymer City Chronicles, which was this ridiculous comic forum thing from years ago, and I just sort of hung around in the meantime, and I would call myself a casual nerd, I would say.
Oh, you're more than casual.
True, but I hang out with considerably more nerdy people than which makes my nerd cred go way down because they always know more than I do.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I'm like a nerdy jack of all trades.
Jack of all trades, master of none?
There, exactly.
That works.
Exactly. Don't actually ask me to talk about very in-depth game mechanics because I can go, that's pretty, but
I would expect from you, that's shiny.
Shiny is also very important, but if you're wanting to talk about, well, gee, this piece of armor will generate more aggro than this, you're on your own.
Well, you won't have to ever worry about anything like that with me. While you were talking, I was trying to think how long I've known you. We've all met on the PCC forums.
We did. I want to call it 2001 or 2000 because I have a vague memory of this being around about when I was in 10th grade that my friend Fox said, hey, you just moved. You should start joining this online community since you're not near any of your friends anymore. And so he said, here, they're all nice and normal here. And instead I got this group of just crazy people. But I fit in, so it worked well.
Normal, that's funny.
Yeah.
How is Foxman doing? I haven't talked to him in a while.
I believe he's doing quite well. He's working on his PhD in, I think, complex organizations. I don't know. We all went off and did very different and kind of interesting things, so that's always nice. He is, still very much his own kind of nerd in his various fandoms. There was one actually very fascinating weekend in which he took me with him to the Furry Con in Michigan several years ago.
That was fun.
Which I'd never been to. And I had been under the impression that I was just going for like the afternoon, and instead he bought me this weekend pass, and it just kept going. And it was this group of all these furries just completely took over the hotel, and they had a great time. And everybody outside was very confused.
I can only imagine.
Yeah. And it was, I remember one of the courses, or not the courses, like the talks that he said, oh, you should come and hear this guy, was this one particular guy talking about, this is how, as a furry, you speak to the media. And I thought it was really silly that they needed, that a fandom needs a course as to how to talk to the media. And then I saw the news that night and went, oh, okay, that makes a lot more sense now.
Yeah.
So... yeah, poor furries. They kind of seem to be at they get made fun of a lot.
Well, I mean, when you have phrases like, we'll yiff for work, I mean, come on.
This is very true, actually.
They don't help themselves at all with stuff like that.
That's very true. Although, say, speaking of yiff, do you watch At Midnight at all, or are you familiar with it?
No, not familiar with that one.
Okay, well, first of all, you should. It is the nightly quiz show on after Colbert Report on Comedy Central that is hosted by Chris Hardwick, also known as Nerdist.
Yes.
And it is a panel show. It is a delicious, hilarious panel show. And they have things like hashtag wars. So for example, ruin a rom-com or rejected Harry Potter classes. Yesterday's was, why did I Google that?
Oh, that sounds like that would be funny.
Yes. So my submission to that was, why did I Google what does YIF mean? So there's two very poor mistakes I made in my early childhood. Maybe not early childhood, but early geek childhood of learning what these things are, was going, what does YIF mean and who is Douglas Winger? Mistakes I will not make again, but have in my pocket of ways to make non-nerdy people curl into fetal position as needed.
Yes.
So,
Since you're making mention of YouTube, I have to ask you, do you watch any of the College Humor stuff?
bits and pieces. I will be honest and say I am highly amused that they are still around,
Yes.
because the college humor people, if it was started by people who were actually in college, have got to be in their 40s by now.
Oh yeah, at least. But the reason I was asking is they have a video series called if Google was a person, where
Oh,
instead of talking typing into a keyboard, you're actually walking into a guy's office and asking him about this stuff.
that sounds pretty fabulous. Is that the same guy who does the, if cat were people or cats were people?
Uh,
I think there's a guy who does several of them. So, he basically walks around pretending to be a cat, like, goes into his friend's room and pukes on his piece of paper, walks up and just kind of smacks the guy in the face a couple of times. I think it might be the same guy.
I'm
He's just
actually
a very,
looking it
very
up right now, trying to find out if it is or not.
he's a very funny actor, if nothing else.
Let's see. Sorry for the silence. No, it's not the same guy.
So
It's not the
I
same
can
guy.
do waiting music, but I'm more or less tone deaf, so that might be best not to.
No, it's fine. It's not the same guy. This is actually done by the cast of College Humor. A lot of them are really funny. One of them has Sugar Ray actually shows up, and he's like, "Is Sugar Ray ironically hip now?"
Ironically hip.
Yes, because it was never hip to begin with.
No, he really wasn't. I think he was one of those poor people who kind of got shoved into the same group as like Nickelback. Just
Well,
everybody hates them, and I have to.
Nickelback is terrible.
This is true, but like the amount of vitriol that they seem to generate, I do. I mean, it's like, guys, it's a band, but
Yeah. Anyway,
to each their own, I
yes,
suppose.
yes. When we go on a break, I'll link you some of the if Google was a guy, because they're some of the third one is I think is the best, but they're all quite hilarious. But anyway, I brought you on because we just recently just started playing World of Warcraft again after extended absence.
Ah,
Your
yes.
absence being longer than mine because, like a smart person, you actually quit for school, where I did not.
Well, I quit. I quit like my senior year of school, and I was on and off during college because I played and then I stopped playing and then I would pick it up again during the summer, and I have this distinct memory my junior year of sitting down at my computer and going, okay, I have a couple of hours. I'll just go ahead and play and waste a little bit of time. And at one point, looking up and realizing that my arms were really, really hurting because I'd had them resting on the desk for so long. And it was, I think I played for a solid 12 hours without
Oh,
looking up.
oh,
Yeah, and so that was also why I stopped playing. But mostly it was when I moved overseas, because I realized that the chances of having a stable enough internet connection
true.
were unlikely. Not to mention, the time zone issue. So,
Yeah.
but
I didn't even think about the going overseas part because that was around the same time, wasn't
it
it?
it was around the same time. The other issue was that around about that time was when I really figured out that, at least at that point, and I'm hoping that things have changed a little bit, or maybe I just won't mind as much. If you really wanted to get into the game, I found that Warcraft was actually two different games. The first game is getting up to, at that point it was, I think, 60, and now it's going to be 90 with the new expansion. Just
100,
a
100.
hundred,
Yes.
of course. But just getting up there and going through all the quests, seeing all the stories, exploring everywhere, that's an entirely separate game. And that was the game that I was, well, frankly, better at. because it didn't necessarily involve other people all that much, and you could kind of go at your own pace. And if you died repeatedly, as I was wont to do, it wasn't as bad. The other game, and which I think is actually, the real World of Warcraft game, is once you get to the point where you can start taking part in the raids and things like that. And that was the part that I realized that if I wanted to do that, I was going to need to put in 30 or 40 hours a week.
Yeah.
Because that is what a lot of World of Warcraft players do, and I don't have that time. And I guess I just decided it wasn't worth it, especially as I wasn't good enough. I wasn't into the game enough for it to be worth that amount of time.
Yeah.
So
I know that feeling very well because I ran into that wall around late BC. I wanted to raid but couldn't because I didn't have the time to put into raiding. And then wasn't so much in Wrath. Wrath I got to raid a good bit, but not as much as I wanted to. And I finally hit that point again with Cataclysm, and I've literally not stepped in a raid since Cataclysm.
Yeah. Well, I say the last dungeon I did was, I think, Karazhan or Groll isn't his name. I'm just saying
Groll's Lair.
Groll's Lair, to give you an idea of how long ago this was.
Those were BC, yeah. Karazhan was an amazing raid, though. Everything about Karazhan I love.
I don't know. Karazhan, I could honestly say, it is part of what ruined one of my relationships. Really? Yes, because it was that was the dungeon wherein I figured out, okay, this is going to be a time commitment that I'm not interested in making as well. Both in a relationship and in that, because I think there was one particular day we were first starting out and we were obviously not geared for this, because we're like, okay guys, we're going to do Karazhan, got the group together, spent all day, and by all day I think we played for like 18 hours straight and didn't clear it, didn't come anywhere close to clearing it. Said, okay, all got like 5 hours of sleep, got up and did another 10 hours. And I was just like, this is obscene.
Yeah.
If I'm going to spend, 24 hours on something, it's not going to be this.
Yeah. So, I don't blame you on that one bit.
Lesson number 2 of this, always make sure you have appropriate gear for the dungeon. Otherwise, it is going to take forever.
This is also true, and it also helps to have people in the raid with you that know what they're doing.
Yeah. Oh, we all did. Well, I mean, everybody knew the dungeon. We knew what to do. We'd done it before. We all had our not great tunes on us, and just like, ugh.
And the sad thing about Kara now is my cloth wearer, my mage, can solo that instance.
That's depressing.
It really is. With the exception of one part, and that's the chess event. Everything else can be soloed.
See, okay, so that means that now basically Karazhan is going to become like a grinding zone. Or
it already has.
Can you still only do it once a week?
Yeah, but just like every other raid, you have to have someone else in the group with you in order to allow you into the raid.
Well, so you can just do it, the two of you, and there you go.
Exactly.
That sounds like a good run once a week if you have a group to do it.
Indeed.
I remember watching someone. Do you remember? For point of amusement of names, these are the things you can get away with in World of Warcraft. You can't have penis as a name. You can, however, have dictum.
Really?
You can have dictum, which is actually, it's Latin, dictum, dictation, something along those lines. Not what it sounds like. So do you remember dictum?
Vaguely. The name sounds familiar, but I don't remember anything.
Well, his other character's name was Priapus. On the list of names that you probably shouldn't be able to get away with, but can. Are you familiar with Priapus of the name?
That one's over my head.
Okay, I'll come back to that one then. So Dictum / Priapus, his Dictum was his main, and that was a warlock, and he would, with a minion, he would 5-box, and I mean he had this amazing setup. It was crazy.
Wow.
He would 5-box with Dictum as his main. He'd have all of them following him. I mean, he had this amazing computer, 5 monitors hooked up so you could see all of them. I still covet that display. But he would have all of the tunes follow him, and then use his minion to solo stocks over and over and over again.
Nice.
And you can get a character to level 20 pretty quickly that way, albeit very monotonously.
Yes.
And once that, for me, I don't know, that kind of seems like cheating, but then again, for what I really most enjoy about the game is the quests and running around the territories and seeing everything.
Oh yeah.
So the quick backtrack, Priapus, for reference, is the, I believe, Greek hero who, among other things, is known for the word priapism, meaning constant and unrelenting erection that does not go away.
Yep, I'm looking it up right now.
Yes. So the fact that you say again, you can't have penis as a name in the game, you can have Priapus. The amusing thing was that some people tended to get it, but some people didn't. I think
Yep.
it was say more people than I would have thought, but not as many as I would have hoped. But I guess that makes sense given that I think the average World of Warcraft player is like a 15-year-old boy.
13 actually, but
13.
yeah, close
Yeah.
enough.
But as I say, for a 13-year-old boy, I feel like priapism is a word that they should know. I would think it would come in handy at that age.
Well, you never know. I mean, some of them probably have like unique euphemisms for it that they would understand more than the actual clinical term.
No doubt. I would say this probably will date both of us. But if you remember Varsity Blues.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Oh, that game. Ushered many a boy through puberty, no doubt. Not game, movie.
I know what you meant.
Yeah. I could never really buy James Van Der Beek as the quarterback, though.
Yeah, he's a bit too scrawny for a quarterback.
Well, I think maybe that was kind of the point, was that no one was expecting him, because was it Paul? Oh, that was Paul Walker, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, Paul Walker, the Golden Boy, etc., etc.
Yeah, I only saw that movie once, so I couldn't really say anything about it.
I don't think you're missing much.
Yeah, the only thing I remember, once again, being a guy, the only thing I remember is the strip club part.
Really? I would have said something whipped cream bikini.
Oh, I forgot about that. Oh, God. I forgot about that.
Wait, hang on. I have the appropriate noise for this. Just a second.
Okay.
If I could. Oh. Wait, hang on. Ready?
Yep.
It's not funny. Just for you.
Yes. And an echo from me.
Yes. Everybody needs the Price is Right film.
I have that on my phone as a sound effect.
That's a pretty fabulous sound effect.
Actually, what it originally was a friend of mine. It was his text tone. Whenever he sent me a text message, I would hear that. I'm like, oh, I know it's him. And it was his idea too, which is a weird part. But anyway, we're going to take a little bit of a break, and we'll be right back, and we'll actually get into some more World of Warcraft stuff, so we'll be right back.
Looking forward to it.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. We are now on our second part of the episode. We were originally supposed to be talking about nothing but World of Warcraft, but you see how that went.
Whoops.
Yeah, that happens. It's a stream of conscious podcast, so it's going to go wherever it's going to go, even if it is a tangent. All tangents are tangents worth going.
Reagents required and tangents necessary.
That works. I like that. Ooh, I'm gonna take that and use that for a tagline.
Okay.
That's perfect. I love that. That's gonna be an amazing tagline. But during the break, we were talking about some stuff about Warlords of Draenor, and apparently you were unaware that we were getting garrisons.
I was not aware of this. It really sounds like they're doing, what was it, like Second Life? It sounds like a Second Life thing of like, look, you can have your own house now and decorate it. This is what I'm picturing.
Well, kind of. Basically, like I was saying, you start out with a plot of land. Each plot of land has segments for X size buildings. So in the end, you cannot have every building. You have to pick and choose what building you want, and those buildings will level up, increasing in size, increasing what it will allow you to do.
Okay, and presumably, like each building would offer you, an additional access. Like, say, if you had I don't know, a blacksmith, you could do higher level blacksmithing skill stuff.
I'm assuming.
I'm making it up. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm assuming something similar to that. To be perfectly honest, I'm still not fully aware of everything because I've literally within like the last 3 weeks gotten back into the game.
Hmm.
So I heard Garrison's, oh, that's cool, and then not really paid attention to it until very recently. So I'm trying to get caught up myself.
So you can educate me then when you find out.
Exactly. And
I Go ahead.
go ahead. Sorry.
What I'm kind of picturing, although I know this is not what it would be like, I would like to see a World of Warcraft Sims combo because that's what this sounds like to me. It's like, oh, I can build my own little ogre house
Oh,
and or anything like that. Probably not, but I do agree. I do believe a Sims expansion pack for World of Warcraft would be amusing, or vice versa, rather.
World of Simscraft.
World of Simscraft.
That's amazing.
It's like, look, you have a potions bench and an herbalism bench.
But one of the things that you'd be able to do with the garrisons is you get followers. The followers
Hmm.
can go on quests for you and come back with stuff. And
Ah,
one of the followers I was telling you about was Maloon, the dryad in the Night Elf starting area. But you'll never guess who another one of the followers you can get is.
uh,
Let me give you a hint. At least he's got chicken.
it's got chicken. I have no idea.
I want to yell his name, but I can't because I know I'll peak the mic. But Leroy Jenkins. Leroy Jenkins is one of the followers that you can get, and he has new audio that he says whenever you get him too.
Is it the same guy? I hope they found the same guy.
There's some argument over that. Wynn does not think that it is him. I don't know because I have not heard his voice in a very long time. I played the audio back to back with the Leroy Jenkins video plus this, and I can't really tell a difference. But there's also a quality difference between the two.
Yeah. I
So
say we're no longer using what would you use like IRC
I don't think
for running voice stuff. I mean, I remember the fact that we were able to have audio communication instead of typing was a huge thing and like
yes.
blew my mind.
I
So,
think at the time that they came out, I think TeamSpeak was the big thing.
hmm
So it might have been TeamSpeak.
give or take. Yeah, I feel like I didn't use that though because we were using whatever the
When
IRC chat room was that we had pulled together for the Polymer City stuff.
Gotcha. When I started playing with you guys,
Hmm.
we were already using Vent by that point.
Yeah, Vin, that's what it was.
Yeah, Ventrilo
Vent.
is an amazing program, but um, now Vent's even been surpassed by another program called Mumble.
Mumble. Well, I mean, but don't they now have also haven't they integrated it into the game that you
Yeah,
can
but it's
have that?
trash. It's
Okay.
trash. They did in like 2.1, but
Hmm.
it's terrible. It's terrible quality. That's
Seems
why
like it
nobody uses it.
seems like it would also really slow the game down.
I don't know about slowing the game down, but I know I tried it when it first came out because I was so excited. I was like, we don't have to use Vent anymore, and it was trash.
No.
It was terrible. That's
Oh
why most
well.
people don't use it. But yeah, it was good when they added it. I mean, a good step rather. But I just think now they need to, if they're going to continue having that feature in there, they need to upgrade it a little.
Hmm.
But
So okay, so here's my question for you then. If
sure.
if you can have little followers or whatever,
Uh huh.
etc., I can't help but wonder how much of this because I know I've seen what is it called like Hearthstone, the app
Uh
is
huh.
being flogged rather loudly.
Uh huh.
So I'm wondering, I feel like if you have your own little town, presumably that would be something that you could be doing on a cell phone or a tablet as opposed to the game. So I bet you that particular feature comes with some sort of app integration.
Well, there is. I have actually heard someone make mention of something like that, being able to manage your garrison via the already existing app for World of Warcraft, the
Ye-
Armory app.
Oh, Armory app.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Which is no longer called the Armory anymore. It's just World of Warcraft app now.
Oh.
Yeah, I've already heard some people talking about integration of that. But it's funny. It's funny you make mention of Hearthstone, which is also a good game if you ever get a chance to play it if you haven't already.
What is it?
It's a card game.
Okay.
It's basically like the old TCG game, but it's all digitized. It's all done by Blizzard. They put a massive amount of work into the game with card animations and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But the other cool thing is if once you get through the game tutorial and start playing with ranked games online, once you win 3, you get a mountain game in World of Warcraft.
Oh,
It's called the Hearthsteed.
Hearthsteed. Okay,
Yes.
well that's kind of cool.
And there's rumors that they're going to start doing that a lot more, where doing stuff in WoW will get you stuff in Hearthstone and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a good
I
game. If you ever played Magic, it's similar to Magic, except you don't have to worry about mana or lands.
Yeah, see, okay, that's the thing, is that I do remember playing Magic, although I fully admit I never really understood it well enough, and possibly because I was maybe 10 when I was playing and no one ever explained it. But there was that one, and then there was it like Five Rings something.
I don't know that
It
one.
was it was it was vaguely Japan based.
Hmm.
And you sort of samurai Legend of Five Rings, I think it's called. No, is that was like that really weird movie with a kangaroo in it. Um,
No, I know which one you're talking about. The ones where they're all that's like Warriors of Virtue or something
yeah,
like
it was like five of one, Power of Kung or something like that. And it was this stupid book, and the whole point was that who only the chosen one could read the last page, and so he reads it and goes, shit happens.
that. Legend of the Five Rings was a collectible card game.
Okay, that one, yeah. So I played that one a little bit in high school, and I remember playing it quite extensively. Fox played a little bit. Knight played extensively, if you remember him.
Maybe names
Probably probably a little bit more peripheral. He was more in the IRC chat as opposed to on the boards. So I think
Gotcha.
he was post PCC demise.
I gotcha. I gotcha.
Um,
Which
but he
since you brought up PCCs and Minds, I've got to say, I want him to bring that back. I want him, Chris Morrison, to bring that back.
whatever happened to him?
He's on DeviantArt.
Okay.
Beyond that, I mean, I think he's playing like WildStar right now because you can play
Mm-hmm.
as like a bunny chick.
Okay.
That's the best way I can describe him. Is it's like this race of like anthro bunny people.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, dear Mr. Chris Morrison, we would like you to bring back Polymer City Chronicles.
Please.
It's been over 10 years. We still remember
Yes.
you. We still hang out together and talk.
Yes,
Start drawing again, please.
he still draws. He just doesn't do this comics anymore. But yeah, we even have a Facebook group devoted.
Dedicated.
Yeah, please. We act like he's actually going to listen to this.
Well, here's the thing. If you send it to him, he will. And the benefit of it is that I am now old enough to actually understand half of the dirty jokes that I did not get as a 13-year-old. So, because I say, as a 13-year-old girl, mostly I spent a lot of my time being amused by the term Luftwaffe and absolutely stabbed of the various female characters' lady appendages, shall we say, also known as boobs.
Yes.
They were pretty epic.
Yes.
So that was me. But I don't know. I gotta go back and read that. I think it's all still up anyway.
No, it's still up. Yeah, it's still up. At least as of yesterday, it's still up.
As I say, having clung to several other web comics from that same period with equal dedication, I would look forward to seeing that one again.
I think that's going to be my ultimate goal with this podcast is to get him on.
All right, you hear that, Chris? We're talking to you.
I know it'll never happen because I know how secretive of a man he was. Oh, not secretive. He was not a very open person.
No.
So
and that was before the internet could find all the things about you.
Yeah.
All the things.
I think I remember an instance where the closest thing that we actually got to actually knowing anything about him was when his estranged dad got onto the forums.
Oh my god, I missed that one.
I think that's the thing that happened, or maybe I'm making that up.
I would say it may have, but I don't remember. I do remember him getting very frustrated with people fighting, and I think that was what made him eventually shut it down.
Yeah.
But we've all grown up now.
And we still fight.
Well, yes, but we've also realized that the bottom of the internet is the bottom of the internet.
No, the bottom of the internet is 4chan.
Okay, sorry. The bottom half of the internet being
gotcha.
the comments page, or the forums page. So, I say yes. It's not really the most admirable aspect of humanity, shall we say?
This is true. I've though nobody has commented on any of these videos yet. I have thought about turning the comments off in general, but I'm not sure if I'm actually going to do that or not. Because when you turn off the comments, people immediately scream censorship.
True. It's like, it's not censorship. I just don't want you to be an asshole.
Yeah,
It's called constructive criticism.
yeah.
I remember, say, coming back to World of Warcraft, I remember one of the initial guilds that I first joined up with was like kind of a combo military guild, and
Oh
that it
God.
was a bunch of guys in the military, and I forget how I got linked in with them. I think it was through local friends in Michigan. Um, and it was nice because they didn't swear excessively, and it wasn't just crappy, and it's like they had their kids on there sometimes, so they were all really very clear, behave like human beings. Sometimes we have 10-year-olds on here, so I mean, I'm okay with people swearing, but it's when, and particularly World of Warcraft, I found that the main chats were sort of, I don't know, they would tend towards this, of just people being mean to each other, and I got really tired of people writing, well, you're a stupid whatever, over and over and over again. But if you keep in mind, like we said, that the average player is a 13-year-old boy, it's kind of what you're going to get.
Yeah, general chat is still the lowest common denominator in WoW, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Especially late at night. Late at night, it is bonkers.
I can't read it fast enough.
Yeah. The racist slurs do get thrown fast in that game.
It was like, yeah, I can't read it fast enough, and I don't really want to, because I don't need that in my brain.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it was like every once in a while you get a random funny from it though. Like there was one part currently in the game they have justice points and honor points. I think honor, if I remember correctly, honor points was the lowest tier, and justice points were the higher tier. You got honor points from doing regular dungeons, and justice from doing heroic versions of the dungeons. And
Ugh.
you can turn hero points into justice points through a vendor. I think it's like a terrible ratio where it's like thousands for like 1 point or something like that. I don't remember what the actual ratio was.
World of Warcraft, making everything take forever since 1990s.
Yeah, this is true. But I remember one time early in the morning, someone put up a comment: "How do you turn justice? How do you turn honor into justice?" And someone's like, "Become Batman."
Okay.
I'm like, that's amazing. That was funny. I'll give you props for that one.
Yes. Okay. I'm gonna say many points for that, and also for being, say you can be funny without making somebody cry.
Indeed.
But I feel like the group, or not the group chat, the open forum is the thing that I notice most when I go into one of the big cities, which I will admit I have not had the opportunity to look into, and I'm really very curious, because since it's been so long since I played the game, I think there's a bay in Stormwind now.
Yes, they put the docks in at Wrath.
Yes, I believe a dragon fell on it originally.
That was the garden area. That was in Cataclysm.
Okay. I remember. I'm sure. I know that Cataclysm is where all the bad stuff happened. I think.
Yeah.
I think I may have been around for some of Wrath, because I'm also remembering prior to a new expansion coming out, maybe it was BC, just like a giant dragon would every so often show up at one of the major cities, kill everything, and then leave.
Sadly, the conversation with Shara lasted a little bit longer than I wanted to, so we had to cut a little bit short. But don't worry, you're not going to miss anything. Next episode, we will continue the conversation that I had with Shara, so stay tuned, and I'll see you when we come back.